Hello, I'm Philip.
Hey, I'm TJ.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, I'm Colin.
Hi, I'm Mark Rackham.
So I'd like to start off with a true story that relates to my topic. Hannah Locke, a 17-year-old girl from Whitfield County, Georgia, was paralyzed from the chest down after a head-on crash in 2013. She had been immediately paralyzed and had no feeling or movement in her lower extremities until this cutting-edge treatment that she received in Panama gave her back her life. She now has feeling all over her body, and she can even walk. She has even progressed to being able to walk with a harness only a year after her accident. So how is this miracle possible? Through the use of stem cells, Hannah has done what her doctors said she would never be able to do. She is not the only one, though. Many others are benefiting from the use of stem cells today, and with continued research, stem cells can provide hope for many more. I'm a nursing student, and I'm going into my senior year. Like my topic of my informative speech, stem cell research was also something that I learned about in my ethics of nursing class. So what are stem cells? Stem cells are cells that have not yet matured and do not have a specific function in the body. There are two types of stem cells. There's embryonic stem cells, which come from human embryos that have been fertilized in the lab of in vitro fertilization clinics and are donated to science from the woman that the egg belongs to. And the second type is somatic stem cells, which are also immature cells without a specific function, but they come from your own organs and body tissues and exist in all children and adults and are not in embryos. Embryonic stem cells are the ones that cause the most controversy, since taking stem cells from an embryo destroys the fertilized egg. Some people consider this human life because it could possibly be a baby if and only if it were implanted into a woman. But the embryos that are used are never the ones that will be used for by a woman to have a baby. I will further explain this later on in my speech. So, for some history background, federal funding for stem cell research was restricted by President Bush in 2001, but that order was then revoked by President Obama in 2009. So it's something that's heavily debated on in the United States. And although a lot of stem cell research in the United States is still pretty new and in trial phases, in other countries, treatments like Hannah's are already being done. So the U.S. is actually behind the ball game on this one. Now that federal funding is available for stem cell research, there are so many potential benefits that can result from further research. Why should there be a greater push for stem cell research? As of right now, stem cells cure thousands of people who suffer from leukemia and other blood diseases through bone marrow transplants. This is one of the most common treatments of blood cancer, and although it has helped a significant number of people, there is still a high rate of rejection of bone marrow transplants. The transplant does not take for one reason or another, and the body of the person who is receiving the transplant rejects it and attacks the foreign tissue. Right now, there is some stem cell research that is being conducted with the purpose of lowering this rejection rate, which would allow for the curing of even more people. This stem cell research is vital for the continued improvement of cancer treatments. Some stem cell research is currently working on curing major health issues like heart disease, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and spinal cord injuries. An example of some really promising embryonic stem cell research is dealing with Parkinson's disease. People suffering from Parkinson's have a lack of a chemical called dopamine in their brain. Researchers have been able to transplant embryonic stem cells into certain parts of the Parkinson's patient's brains, and those cells then started producing dopamine and relieving the symptoms of the disease. This is an example of how science is on the cusp of curing incurable conditions. So the continued push for stem cell research is imperative. Another reason why stem cell research is beneficial is its big role in pharmaceutical field. So right now, New medicines are tested for their safety on animals and on humans through drug trials. So according to an article by Jennifer Chu in the MIT Technology Review, testing the toxicity of medicines on lab rats before testing on humans in clinical trials is notoriously unreliable. Often drugs that appear safe in lab animals end up being toxic to humans. Stem cells could eliminate putting humans in danger. Instead of testing on animals and then humans, drugs can be tested on stem cells to determine their safety without harming any humans or animals. Although many people believe that embryonic stem cell research involves the killing of embryos that will become a human life, that is not totally the case. The embryos that are used would actually be discarded for various reasons if they're not otherwise used for research. The women that the embryos belong to all give consent for their embryos to be used for research, and in many areas they're not paid for their donations. There are ethical standards that must be met for scientists to conduct research on embryos to maintain respect for what some people consider human life. For example, in California, all proposed research must be reviewed by a separate board that has scientists knowledgeable on embryonic stem cell research, as well as ethics experts and the public. These women have the decision to either discard their unused embryos or donate their embryos to a higher purpose of saving lives and curing people who suffer from debilitating diseases. Now that I have provided you with the amazing benefits of stem cells, I hope that you will think about being a supporter of stem cell research, or will at least be intrigued to do some of your own research on this topic. Thank you.